All right, welcome back. We're after lunch. I am not sure if this is going correctly. We shall see. Give me just a second. Make sure everything is working. Can you hear me? Okay. So YouTube is now working. Let's see. Locals working. Nope. Oh, that's Rumble. Um, is Rumble working? It appears to be. So let's see if Locals is working. I am so sorry, guys. Um, that's working. Now let's see if I share my screen, if that will work. Add to stage. Everybody's a bit behind. Are we working? With my share screening. There we go. All right. Sorry, guys. I think we fixed our problems. So we're going to backtrack a little bit um, where they started. We are on day 5 after the lunch break. They're putting stuff on the record, so hang on just a sec.
Judge, we have a matter we need to address before the jury comes in at sidebar. Not necessarily.
Your Honor.
All right. I think
Your
we
Honor,
got
during
our
the
stuff
course
fixed.
of
Sorry, guys.
my publication or publishing of the defendant's, shall we say, second statement.
Okay.
Not when he was, not after Miranda, and not when he was first asked about, who owns the boat, where does the boat come from,
Okay.
but the one that would have otherwise been covered under the accident report privilege. In the course of publishing that, I noticed that the transcript that was handed out reflected what the defense asked the state to redact, which was any reference to either the lieutenant's request for the defendant's blood sample or his refusal or his decision to decline giving a blood sample. All of that was redacted, and the redactions are properly reflected in the transcript. Unfortunately, I realized as we were playing it, though I feel like I looked at these videos over and over again,
Oh,
a
shit.
little portion of what was agreeable to the defense was we over redacted it. And so on page 2,
Oh, okay.
yes, of statement 2,
Second, statement 2, transcript 2.
Page 2, statement 2.
yes, so the part where it says 1, 2, 3, 5 lines down, you'll see WT.
Right.
For the,
1, 2, 3, 4. 5.
and it begins with the lieutenant saying, I don't know about that yet. So the first thing I'm going to do, talk to you about, there's a boating accident, a serious injury.
Okay.
The next few sentences or so are redacted, and those are the sentences where he indicated that I like to ask, all that. So those were properly redacted, and then we picked back up with the defendant then saying, I had 2 beers in response to the lieutenant saying, I would like to get a blood sample. For whatever reason, unfortunately, from that until where the lieutenant says you're allowed to drink alcohol and drive a boat.
It's not illegal to boat and drive. It's an action.
Right. All of that from the 2 beers down to where the lieutenant says you're allowed, for some reason, those were not included on the video.
It should not have been
redacted. It should have been in. Unfortunately, I think there was a miscommunication between myself.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
in the video,
Yes.
it's shown to the jury.
Yes.
Did they see when it said, GP, I had 2 beers? See in here, they didn't see in here.
So they're going to.
They only saw it on the transcript, which is not evidence. It was not included on the actual DVD, which is.
And then the next line, where the lieutenant
Yeah.
says, and it's not illegal, it was also not there.
Correct.
Okay. So,
Keep going, Judge.
all right, go ahead.
The next sentence,
Yeah, and it's not illegal to drink a beer or a couple of beers and drive.
Right.
that's also not included in the
Wasn't
recording.
included, so,
And more. More was excluded.
okay, go ahead.
Also,
What
the
else
part
was excluded from,
where it says,
Yeah.
I feel perfect in the way my mind was, that also was redacted, which it should not have been.
right,
And then the next part, you're allowed to drink alcohol and drive a boat. There's nothing saying that. Are you bleeding anywhere now? That's where it picks back up.
when does it pick back up?
When
So the
the
state made
when
it.
the defendant
Can't
says
put
my
that step
elbow.
in.
Okay, so here's what you're gonna need to do.
I think we did it.
Okay.
So we now
We
have,
have to, I don't know, tell me what you propose.
So the issue is that Ms. Adams, when she drew from the witness, from the testimony about the 2 beers, it was Ms. Adams characterizing it as a spontaneous statement. I think that's where it spontaneously said, we can go to the transcript, the word spontaneously. We all know it was not spontaneously.
Okay.
It was in response to several sentences of dialogue, including when the witness, Lieutenant Thompson, says, it just answers more questions if there was alcohol in your system or not.
Okay.
We know it being a blood draw. And so the exact quote was, it just answers more questions if there was alcohol in your system or not, which I'm not sure it was, so I'd like to ask permission to draw your blood. It's completely up to you.
Okay.
And then Mr. Pino says, I had 2 beers.
Okay.
Okay. So our concern is that the impression has been left with the jury that Mr. Pino just blurted out, I had 2
Oh,
beers.
yeah, I understand where you're coming. That
Wow.
it was something so spontaneous, it just came out of Mr. Pino. So that
And
has to be
the-
addressed.
and so the way that I interpreted spontaneous is, at no time did the lieutenant say, have you been drinking? How much did you have to drink? The defendant
That's the way
volunteers
you-
that.
But that's maybe the way you interpret it. So how do
Well,
I
it's,
clarify?
I think what we can do is just either we were able to reinsert all of the part that was initially over redacted. So I have a copy of that. So I can either replay that and just say, Lieutenant, is this what happened? And the jury can follow along again and just leave it at that. Whether I characterize it as spontaneous or not, it's kind of like a, tomato situation, maybe the
It's not
jury
a
thinks it was
tomato-tomato.
spontaneous, maybe they don't, but it's not in direct relation to a question that was posed by the lieutenant.
Well, okay. We know it was perhaps in relation to a question though that was deemed suppressible, that whole area of inquiry.
Correct.
Okay, so let me try to wrap my head around how and what
How y'all gonna fix
instructions, if any, I should give to the jury, that might clear this up.
I think
May
this
I
needs to be
make one
fixed.
possible suggestion,
I
which
think
would be
that's
this, that the court instructs the jury that there was a technical issue with the video that was played, and we are now going to play the proper version of it with nothing further, and I'm not going to characterize what he says one way or the other.
Well, and I'll also instruct them that I remind you what the lawyer is asking questions, that's not evidence. What the witness says. So this witness is not going to say there was a spontaneous statement by Mr. Pino.
Right. So what I would propose to give context to the statement about 2 beers, because the prosecutor actually, I think, said to the witness, you didn't ask him about alcohol, drinking alcohol, and that Mr. Pino spontaneously said he had 2 beers. I think the simple way to correct it is, as we're going to play the correct version, it just be prefaced with a question by the prosecutor. Something simple as, Lieutenant Thompson, you told Mr. Pino you were investigating whether alcohol was involved, and here's his response. Something as simple as that.
That makes sense. When I think about it.
It's not that I have any problem with that. I just worry, does that somehow, because when this is happening, the lieutenant is not asking questions. He's just explaining why he's going to want to get a
You
sample.
screwed up on the redaction.
Right, he's explaining why, but the response, and I think we can, that Mr. Pino had was really in response to Lieutenant Thompson bringing up this whole idea, and
I could,
he was forthright in that once Lieutenant Thompson brought up the idea, and it's the refusal that doesn't come in front of the jury.
what I could certainly do is, and, with the witness here, hopefully, I could certainly ask of him, Lieutenant, at some point, did an issue of alcohol come up? Yes. And just leave it at that, and then just play this.
At that point, yeah.
That the investigator, now lieutenant, raised the issue of alcohol, and in response, Mr. Pino said, and we play the tape. Something simple.
You're playing it, and you're gonna stop it at a certain point. You're gonna play from the beginning again. You gotta play the whole thing.
Yeah, I understand that.
So you'll stop it until
Yes.
you get there, and then you'll make a note for yourself.
Okay.
You'll ask a question, and then you can handle anything else on cross, if you
Right.
think that.
So,
And I would give the jury instruction on a technical issue. We're gonna basically redo that and remind them that, what the lawyers say in their questions is not evidence. The evidence comes from the witness.
that's fine, and I would propose that if we start from the beginning, it's only 1.5 minutes or so, 1 minute 40 seconds. Stop after the sentence last played, which ended with the words, a serious injury.
Right.
That's when the next question to Lieutenant Thompson would be, at that point, you raised the issue with him about alcohol, and the response was recorded, and here we go. And that takes away,
Let it play.
Absolutely. That's perfectly
okay, great.
reasonable.
And Lieutenant Thompson's right here.
That's why I thought it'd be great to have
So he understands the plan.
And what I would do, just for brevity's sake, I have a jump drive that has the corrected video and audio that council has been able to see over the break. So what I would seek to do is just ask for it.
Substitute out,
Yes, it's,
what was the exhibit number again?
hold on.
And while she's looking, to be clear, we're not opening any doors to his refusal, to the defendant's refusal by doing it.
Absolutely not.
I'm correct?
We're not opening
This is in
the
the
doors.
Thank
You're correct.
Thank you.
I wonder what the jury's
That was,
I have a pet peeve about double negatives.
that was,
Thank
your
you.
request to limit or to suppress was granted in that regard.
Oh, I know what this is. The defense has it.
This is my computer.
So,
It is.
What are we doing, folks? Oh, I'm not. Oh, yeah, I'm not. Let's see if we can zoom past some of it.
Objections and perhaps.
May the,
We're not opening
this is
the doors.
Thank
You're
you.
correct.
Thank you.
Finding that, you know,
the
Sorry, hang
video
on.
that was played, and we are now going to play the proper
I missed
version
stuff.
of it.
Sorry.
with nothing further, and I'm not going to characterize what he says one way or the other.
Well, and I'll also instruct them that I remind you what the lawyer's asking questions, that's not evidence. What the witness says. So this witness is not going to say there was a spontaneous statement by Mr. Pino.
Right. So what I would propose to give context to the statement about 2 beers, because the prosecutor actually, I think, said to the witness, you didn't ask him about alcohol, drinking alcohol, and that Mr. Pino spontaneously said he had 2 beers. I think the simple way to correct it is, as we're going to play the correct version, it just be prefaced with a question by the prosecutor. Something simple as, Lieutenant Thompson, you told Mr. Pino you were
They're doing
investigating
this in front
whether
of the witness.
alcohol
That's
was
odd,
involved,
too.
and here's his response. Something as simple as that.
That makes sense. When I think about it. 'Cause
It's not that I have any problem with that. I just worry, does that somehow?
You
Because
made a mistake.
when this is happening, the lieutenant is not asking questions. He's just explaining why he's going to want to get a sample.
No, but, right, he's explaining why, but the response, and I think we can, that Mr. Pino had was really in response to Lieutenant Thompson bringing up this whole idea, and
I could,
he was forthright in that once Lieutenant Thompson brought up the idea, and the refusal that doesn't come in front of the jury.
what I could certainly do is, and, with the witness here, hopefully, I could certainly ask of him, Lieutenant, at some point, did an issue of alcohol come up? Yes. And just leave it at that, and then just play this.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah, that the investigator, now lieutenant, raised the issue of alcohol, and in response, Mr. Pino said, and we play the tape. Something
Even
simple.
if you're playing it, and you're gonna stop it at a certain point. You're gonna play from the beginning again. You gotta play the whole thing.
Yeah, I understand that.
So you'll stop it before
Yes.
you get there, and then you'll make a note for yourself.
Okay.
You'll ask a question, and then you can handle anything else on cross, if you
Right.
think that.
So,
And I would give the jury instruction on a technical issue. We're gonna basically redo that and remind them that, remember, what the lawyers say in their questions is not evidence. The evidence comes from the witness.
that's fine, and I would propose that if we start from the beginning, it's only a minute and a half or so, a minute and 40 seconds. Stop after the sentence last played, which ended with the words, "a serious injury."
Right.
That's when the next question to Lieutenant Thompson would be, at that point, you raised the issue with him about alcohol, and the response was recorded, and here we go. And that takes away,
Let it play.
Absolutely. That's perfectly
okay, great.
reasonable.
And Lieutenant Thompson's right here.
That's why I thought it'd be great to have
So we understand the plan.
And what I would do, just for brevity's sake, I have a jump drive that has the corrected video and audio that council has been able to see over the break. So what I would seek to do is just ask for it.
Substitute out,
Yes, it's,
what was the exhibit number again?
hold on.
And while she's looking, to be clear, we're not opening any doors to his refusal, to the defendant's refusal by doing it.
Absolutely not.
I'm correct?
We're not opening
This is,
the doors.
Thank
You're correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Because that was,
I have a pet peeve about double negatives.
A lot of people do. Makes it confusing.
Oh, I know what this means. The defense has it.
This is my computer.
So,
I don't know whose it is, but it's not yours.
So this week next as a Friday.
Are we? What are we doing? Zoom. Okay, I think we're fixing to actually start testimony now.
So, Your Honor, if I may, the corrected audio and visual of the defendant's statement to Lieutenant Thompson is listed for identification as states 5U. And I would seek, hopefully without objection from the defense, other than their prior raised objections, to move 5U for identification into evidence, and then be able to publish that with the caveat that I will preface the 2-beer statement with a question to the lieutenant.
right, aren't we substituting what was already?
Yes, but just to make things a little bit,
I can do it right now. You don't have to do it. Yeah, right, I want to do it now.
you want us to put this statement on the original jump drive?
No. I thought you were going to switch it out.
I thought we figured this out already.
The only thing that this jump drive has, Your Honor,
Oh,
is
that
the
one
second statement. The one that's in evidence has,
Okay, we're good.
okay,
That's another exhibit.
okay, yes.
Okay.
So I'm now moving states 5U for identification and evidence.
Subject to prior objections and perhaps an instruction from the court to explain to the jury that it was omitted and we're now giving it for the jury. The jury may have seen it in the transcript. So to clarify for the jury, they may have already seen this in the transcript, even though the transcript is not evident.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. What number is it going to be?
5U marked for ID, States Exhibit 111.
111.
111 exhibits.
When you begin to ask the questions, I'll probably tell them anyway. But you're advised that it's now States Exhibit 111.
Okay.
Okay?
Judge, there's another matter, which just to, so we can go through the whole afternoon.
Pop is headed in any minute with my jury. So is this something with regard to Lieutenant?
Yes,
Should he be sitting here?
I don't know. It has to do with anticipated cross-examination questions.
Okay, so when you finish your direct,
Okay,
which will be how much longer?
not much.
Okay, we'll stop for a minute. We'll come sidebar,
Okay,
and then we can talk about what you want to talk about.
thank
Oh, I
you.
want it in an open court because I want to know. Goodness.
All right.
So I think that was I mean, do you think they were fixing that correctly or no?
All right, everyone, please be seated. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you had a nice lunch. During the playing of the body-worn camera evidence from Lieutenant Thompson, there was a technical issue with regard to what is essentially the second statement in the conversation between Mr. Pino and Lieutenant Thompson. that technical issue has been resolved. There was what you might have been reading on the transcripts was actually not heard on the video. So that's been corrected.
I'm gonna let this play for a second.
And
I'll
what's
be right
going to
back.
happen now is the corrected statement is going to be played for you. There'll be a few questions about that. The transcript can be handed out again, which would be number 2 transcript. Oh, no, wait, it's number 2 transcript,
Yes.
right? Okay, number 2 transcript. Now, I remind you, the transcript is not the evidence. The evidence is the video, the audio and video, okay? In addition, let me remind you that what the lawyer is asking their questions is not the evidence. The evidence comes from physical evidence and or testimony of the witnesses. Okay?
For the record, I'm now going to publish State's Exhibit 111. Your Honor, may the lieutenant step down while this is playing? Thank you.
Work at WC. I do all voting actions that are serious. Anytime someone says somebody gets life flighted, that's when I come. So, right now, no update. My officers are just getting to the hospital. So, no update on it. We all went to the same spot, right? My office, medical staff won't give an update until my guys get there. They won't do it as long as they don't know who's actually calling. So, my guys are about 10, 15 minutes away. So, everyone knows over there. Oh, that's throw it. All the girls, or they're over there. There's some there. Oh, there's some who's over there. I think unless no, there's no where they move it. All those girls are fine. They're a little shit. So as of right now, last I had an update was she's conscious, but she's saying she just a bit. That last number. I'm going to have on anybody. I was on but from Oliver Sandbar. So, she was there on the phone with my wife. So, I'm still getting all the pieces that she was doing. I don't know if
Lieutenant, I want to ask you if during this time, did any kind of issue about alcohol come up?
I didn't know.
Okay.
Can we get a pause, Your Honor?
Just pause it for a minute.
Sure.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, again, this is the portion that was not played before. And the question was asked, questions about alcohol, and this wasn't played for you before. All right? And this is the evidence.
And it's not illegal to go to drive. It's not illegal to drink and be confused and drive.
I feel perfect in a way that sometimes I know it happened. I love it forever. I love that life.
You're allowed to drink alcohol and drive a boat. That's not considered.
All right, sorry about that. I'm back. The rest of this is, I believe, was played in the other exhibit. There's just that one part.
We'll come back to this. Let's get that finished. Okay? I don't want to leave right. No, I need to get that looked at. Hey, well, what are you guys doing? Fire rescue? He's bleeding pretty good from a gash in his elbow. He's bleeding pretty good from a gash in his elbow. Well, what are you guys doing? Grabbing fire rescue? Yeah, we're attaching the boat. Yeah, let's go talk about it here a second. I'm gonna have fire rescue for you with it. Come out of this. We'll continue our conversation. He'll come talk. Yeah, if he has questions, he'll come. You're heavy breathing. I want you sitting down. I don't want you falling over this time. Okay.
Do y'all think that he should have been transported to the hospital with the head injury?
No, I understand, but I've heard that show before. I've seen people fall over, and the last thing I need is for you to fall over these rocks. So take a seat for me, my friend. So are these all your daughters? This is your daughter on the boat? That's your daughter right there? Okay. And all of them were her friends? It's my daughter's birthday. Okay. Those are our girls. Celebration. We're heading back. I let you do. We're going through that channel on the last one. Really way we're not judged. Brett, estimate how much. How many times have you gone through that channel? How many hours do you have on this mission?
Your Honor?
Yeah, on the boat. And how many hours? You can put hours. How many hours on it?
So I think that resolved the issue of the missing portion.
Oh, yes, that was what was missing previously. All right, we'll continue on.
Pardon?
So we're going to conclude that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Dang, I think I had my mic muted again. I'm really bad about that.
So Lieutenant, up to now, we've talked about the fact that you spoke with George Pino on the evening of September 4th of 2022, and we talked about the inventory of the vessel that was done once it was salvaged from the bottom of the bay, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's talk now a little bit about something that occurred on June the 9th of last year. Did you and other people involved in law enforcement try to think of a way to explain or express to the jury what the defendant's driving pattern, for lack of a better term, was through the Cutter Bank channel on the afternoon of September 4th, 2022.
Yes, ma'am. We conducted a reconstruction as close as we could.
Prior to doing the reconstruction, were any thoughts given about trying to actually bring the jurors through on the channel?
There were thoughts.
And
Objection, Your Honor.
Too dangerous to bring the jury out there.
okay.
Oh, no shit.
What was the overall plan to try to show the jury as accurately as possible
They
the
went through
route
this with
that
the
the
other
defendant's vessel took on that
investigator
afternoon
yesterday.
up to leading to it actually hitting a channel marker?
Yes, on May 30th, ASA Adams reached out to me asking if this is even a possibility.
Hearsay.
Told her that logistically there's going to be a lot of moving parts to get this done, specifically around safety reasons. So we had to make sure we had safety vessels.
Remember, the accident happened in 2022. I do not believe that the reconstruction happened until 2025.
To block off channels. We had to make sure the weather was right that day, the right individuals were there, that we had access to Key Biscayne's airfield. It's a state park, so no drones can be flown. So we had to talk to the FAA for the drones. It was a lot of moving parts for it.
Could you explain to the jurors what the idea was in terms of how this path would be recreated?
So we had the GPS data from the units that were on the defendant's vessel.
They
that
haven't put
showed
the
certain track marks and
GPS
speed
tracking
that the vessel
in
was
evidence yet. I don't
operating on
believe.
September 4th. So we used multiple buoys as points of speed increase or direction change towards the channel marker.
So if there was a track point, say, that indicated that the defendant was going 43 miles per hour, is there a way using GPS to put the buoy like really close to where that track point is?
Yes, ma'am. We used a certified handheld GPS following the exact coordinates from the units from the vessel to match
Not all
it
GPS
to
is
the
the
exact
same.
spot that we were going to drop
So-
the buoy.
Okay. And then in this particular case, were there two last track marks or track points from the defendant's vessel up until it crashed into that channel marker?
There was.
And did a buoy get placed in each of the locations where those last two track points were?
Yes, ma'am.
And so what was the idea behind piloting a vessel past those buoys which represented the track points?
The idea was to video record so we could show the jury of the points of acceleration that the GPS showed. So the first buoy was a signal for me to accelerate from one speed to another, while also maintaining a certain track from one buoy to the next. The second buoy was the last buoy prior to the collision with the channel marker.
Now, the second to last track point, can you describe where within the channel that would have been?
Between channel marker 13A and 13.
Okay. And where was the last buoy or the buoy that represented the last track mark prior to impact?
It was right next to channel marker 15.
Now, in order to try to recreate this, did you have available a police vessel?
I did.
What was the size of that police vessel?
30 feet.
What was the size of the Robalo vessel that was salvaged from the bay in this case?
29 feet.
What were the engines that were on the vessel that was used for this?
Two 300 horsepower Yamaha engines.
What kind of engines were on the Robalo in this case?
Two 300 horsepower Yamaha engines.
Did it seem that your police vessel was a comparable vessel to show the jurors what took place on that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you able to get the police vessel accelerated up to 43 miles per hour at that first buoy?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you then accelerate the vessel to about 47 miles per hour right before you got to that second buoy?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been piloting vessels?
Since I was a young child.
How many times have you piloted toward a steel marker?
Not on purpose.
Okay. Can you
See,
talk to the
it
jurors a little bit
happens.
about what the experience
Not
was
on
like
purpose.
trying to recreate a path that you know in real life resulted in the destruction we saw to that vessel in photographs in yesterday? What
Yes,
did you do to manage that?
Objection, reserve a motion.
So,
Okay, hold on. All right. Objection is overruled. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So with those two markers that we spoke about earlier, the first one is to the start getting to a speed of 43 miles an hour. The second channel buoy that we placed is right next to channel marker 15. We had to take in consideration that if I were to take the exact same route, it was near impossible for me to evade that channel marker.
Okay. Before engaging in this reenactment, for lack of a better term, did you have any alcohol to drink?
No, ma'am.
Oh, jeez. He had 2 beers. Give it
Did
up.
you have any minors on the boat with you?
No, ma'am.
Now, did you make several passes through that channel?
Yes, ma'am.
And was there a drone involved?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to show you an exhibit. It's not in evidence, it's a demonstrative aid. It's State's Exhibit 2I.
Well, if it's not an evidence, why isn't it an exhibit?
This is not
Since it's
scientific.
demonstrative aid.
My channel drawing is as good as your boat drawing, but does this represent kind of the tail end of the Cutter Bank channel?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you be able to use this pen and kind of like show us in cartoon figures almost the route that you basically were taking?
Yes, ma'am.
Where the squiggly line is, does that represent the route that you were taking?
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, she had to fix what he did. So did she change it?
I'm showing you exhibits that are in evidence at states 23 and 22. Do these accurately depict what channel markers 14 and 15 look like?
Yes, ma'am.
What were the wind and I guess sea conditions like when this was done?
Very favorable. Low winds, very slight chop, very small waves on the water.
Was that similar to the weather conditions on the afternoon of September 4th, 2022, Biscayne Bay in the vicinity of Cutter Bank?
Yes, ma'am.
It's not an evidence. There's no weather
I'm going
reported.
to show you an exhibit which is in evidence now, as states exhibit number 11. And now I'm going to show you an exhibit which is states 106. Now, in states exhibit 11, there is a seat which is designated as number 9, and there's a name attached to that. What is that name?
Lucy.
May I have that, please? And, Your Honor, may the witness step down, please?
Why we?
So if what we're looking at here in exhibit number 11 is a diagram of the seating arrangements of Mr. Pino's vessel on September 4th, 2022. And if what we're looking at here in states exhibit number 106 is an actual photograph of where seats 7, 8, and 9 would be.
Yes, ma'am.
Where it says Lucy, would that correspond to where we are looking at Lucy having sat?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, because, I guess if we do it this way, that would be how we would know that this location is where Lucy was seated. Fair to say?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if here's something we can see. So this is the 3 bench seats here. and a prior witness identified that Lucy was seated here. I'd like to ask if during this process of trying to recreate for the jury a sense of what the defendant's vessel was doing prior to and at impact, was there somebody who actually sat in seat 9, the seat that was identified as the seat that Lucy had been in, filming from that vantage point where the vessel was
Oh,
traveling?
wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you seen that video?
Yes, ma'am.
Are these boats the same?
For the record, I'm showing counsel's, oh, no, it's already in evidence, states number 98. Earlier, did you get a chance to look at this?
Yes, ma'am.
And you put your initials on it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Judge, at this time, I publish this exhibit.
Same objections previously asserted.
And over those objections,
Court TV, zoom in on it.
I'm going to stop this a couple of times and then replay it from the beginning, but we're heading down the channel,
Yes, ma'am.
and I'm going to stop this and ask you kind of where we're at.
Yes, ma'am.
What channel marker is that?
Be 13. 13A?
Take a close look.
13A.
Okay. What's this right here?
That's our first GPS buoy.
And what does that represent?
Reaching that at 43 miles an hour, that is the moment where I start to accelerate to 47 miles an hour.
And is this buoy in just about the same location as that second to last track point before the vessel strikes the channel marker?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What I'm pointing to here with my pen, what is that?
That's the second GPS buoy.
Okay. And this represents the last track point prior to impact?
Yes, ma'am.
Lieutenant, what is this channel marker there?
Green marker 15.
You're quite a ways away from it.
Yes, ma'am.
We can see it already?
Yes, ma'am.
Last thing I want to ask you about was yesterday. Our jurors came and examined the robalo at your office, just in front of the office building, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, prior to them viewing the boat, did you stand next to the boat and point to 2 locations on that vessel?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 68. And if the witness can step down, please, Judge?
Yes.
Can you use this exhibit to point out the 2 locations that you pointed to for the jurors?
The first point is right here. The second point is right here.
Can you explain to the jurors what you were pointing out?
Up here, I'm pointing out what we call
The other
heat
officer
transfer
did this
from the
yesterday.
green day board that was on top of markers 15 as the initial impact point.
And you pointed to a second location.
Here,
What is that?
secondary impact point.
And why were you, what was there that let you know that?
The extreme amount of damage that started from this point.
And in fact, was there paint transfer there as well?
There was.
Showing council states 5S and 5T. Do exhibits 5S and 5T represent the 2 locations of paint transfer that you just described?
Yes, ma'am.
I would move states 5S and 5T for identification and evidence.
No objection.
5S, mark for identification, non-states exhibit 112. 5T, 113.
I'm sorry, 113.
113.
Thank you.
And in my right hand, I have the paint transfer at the front or the bow of the boat.
Yes, ma'am.
And on my left hand, I have the paint transfer that was in the middle part of the boat.
Yes, ma'am.
I have no other questions.
Alright, so now we're cross-examination.
What is over here, just the one? Thank you.
They're gonna approach. Long sidebar.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remember we're in.
Alright, so I think we've caught up to real time. Any comments, questions, concerns? What's your thoughts? There are snippets of things I've seen online, while like finding thumbnail pictures. I didn't read into it, so I do not know for sure, but I'm curious if it will come out um, through cross examination. I also saw when I was looking at court documents, um, trying to find an exhibit that um, the defendant's family settled with Katie's family. She was severely injured in the accident, where she can no longer take care of herself, or um, she's wheelchair bound, et cetera, et cetera. From one of the things I saw was they settled for $16 million for that family, because that young lady, she was 17. She played on the soccer team in high school. Uh, she wasn't hadn't been able to live her life. You know, she had a whole future ahead of her. So I did see that. After the case is over, I'm going to deep dive into it later. Um, there's a lot of things I want to deep dive into uh, while we're um, when the case is over with, just because of some of the like headlines. Like I said, looking for thumbnails and stuff, not diving into it. It seems like they're back. That was a long sidebar.
Counsel, before you start the cross-examination, ladies and gentlemen, during the course of the direct examination of the witness, there was a question asked of the witness, and the response from the witness was that, he used the word dangerous in his response. I overruled the defense objection. That objection should have been sustained with disregard any statement or any conclusion
Correct.
by the witness with the use of the word dangerous in terms of what he has done. All right, thank you.
I don't believe that they're
Good
expert
afternoon, Lieutenant
witness,
Thompson.
Good afternoon.
so they can't opine their opinion.
Lieutenant,
And
you
dangerous is an
indicated
opinion.
that during your interviews and interactions with Mr. Pino, that there was no detection on your part. You did not observe any signs of impairment by alcohol. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
The first time. At the point that you had your first interaction with Mr. Pino, however, approximately 2 hours had passed since the accident in this case. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So, to be more specific, the accident occurred sometime around 6:37 p.m. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And the first time that you had contact with Mr. Pino was at 8:16 p.m. according to your testimony today. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
So almost 2 hours later. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Would you not agree that that persons who were with Mr. Pino closer in time to the point of the accident, 6:37, that their impressions as to Mr. Pino's whether Mr. Pino appeared to be impaired by alcohol or not would be important to know?
Yes, sir.
And if such persons that observed Mr. Pino at the time closest to the accident were to say that they didn't detect or didn't observe anything about Mr. Pino which would have indicated alcohol impairment, that would be valuable for this jury to know. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
As well as witnesses to Mr. Pino's state of mind or physical state while he was actually at the sandbar in this case. Witnesses at the sandbar with Mr. Pino who were able to say there was no evidence of impairment by alcohol with Mr. Pino, that also would be important for this jury to know. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Particularly if those witnesses did not observe any evidence of alcohol impairment. You would agree with that, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir.
We heard earlier today that when you had your first opportunity to have interaction with Mr. Pino, that was at the seawall at Elliott Key Harbor. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Pino was on a police boat. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
In fact, he was on a police boat with one of your members of your crew that day, Keith Hernandez. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And when you are asking Mr. Pino some basic background questions about his boat during that interaction, Mr. Pino answered those questions, correct?
Yes, sir.
But he also offered an explanation, his memory about how this accident occurred, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I just wanted to go through slowly with you. We have the benefit of the transcript that was prepared for the jury. And Mr. Pino says that we were going back, we were coming through the channel. Of course, he's referring to Cutter Bank Channel. Was that your understanding at the time?
Yes, sir.
And there were two girls sitting in the back. A boat was coming. We were going by the little, and then you interrupt him and say, you leave the boat in the water at Ocean Reef, or is it at a trailer at Ocean Reef? That's all that you were interested in at that moment. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
But Mr. Pino continues with his answer, and he tells you, no, it's in the water. So anyways, I turned back to look because there were two girls sitting in the back seat of the boat. And I had 5 or 6 in the front, my wife in the middle, and we were coming, and I approached the waves head first, like I always do. And the boat hit. I was looking at the girls, and just to make sure they were okay if they were sitting in the back, and the next thing I know, it hit the wave, and I tried to swing, and the right side of the boat would be the left side of the boat hit the pylon. My God, I can't believe it. You recall him telling you that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Pino was telling you that in his memory of the way the accident occurred, as a part of that, he believes that the left side of his boat made contact with the pylon.
Objection, cause for speculation.
This is what he told you, isn't
Excuse
it?
me.
I'm going to open more as to what was said. Go ahead.
But Judge,
Go ahead. Only.
That, in fact, is not the case, though, correct? The
Correct.
left side of Mr. Pino's boat did not make contact with the pylon in this case, did it?
No, sir.
Trauma.
In fact, we know just from the pictures
So it's not completely
presented in this
alive.
case.
It's just trauma stuff.
This is it. Thank you. As we saw in State's Exhibit number 68,
Just the right side of the boat.
very clearly, damage happens to the right side of the boat. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And that's not a mystery in this case, is it? That's not in dispute here, right?
No, sir.
But at least when Mr. Pino had that initial interaction with you, it was his belief, his memory at that moment, that actually it was the left side of his boat.
objection.
That's the stage as to what Mr. Pino's belief was or wasn't.
You go on, you ask him if he has a trailer for the boat, and he tells you that the boat goes back to Ocean Reef, etc., and so on. There's then another opportunity that you have to speak with Mr. Pino. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Because after you had your initial interaction with him while he was at the seawall on Officer Alec's boat, you went to, because you needed to make some phone calls. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
In connection with the accident scene that you were working, or the accident investigation that you were working, correct?
Yes, sir.
And when you came back, you had a further conversation with him.
That was a big sigh.
And you tell Mr. Pino, Mr. Pino says to you, someone told me that, well, the other girl that was on there, Cammie, she's over there. She was there on the boat with my wife when the other girl was getting airlifted. And you reply, see, I'm still getting all the pieces. See, I'm still getting all the pieces. Pino, she said that she was getting CPR. You respond, I don't know about that yet. So first thing I'm going to do, talk to you about, there's a boating accident, a serious injury. And Mr. Pino, then there was some conversation between you, Mr. Pino, about alcohol, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Pino says to you, in response, he says, you know, I had 2 beers. You recall him saying that?
Yes, sir.
And your response to that was, and it's not illegal to boat and drive. It's not illegal to drink a beer or a couple of beers and drive. And that's a true statement, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Pino says, I feel perfect in the way my mind was. I mean, I know what happened. I've been operating boats forever. I've done that ride 1,000 times. Do you know if Mr. Pino has done that ride 1,000 times?
I did not know.
Do you know if it's true?
I do not know if that's true.
Did you ever examine or become aware of the data examination of the GPS devices in Mr. Pino's boat?
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Did
That's
either
not true.
of the historic track points in either of the GPS devices reflect thousands of rides through the Cutter Bank Channel?
No, it did not.
So this was Mr. Pino's memory.
Objection.
The state,
The GPS devices did not bear out Mr. Pino's statement that he had been through the Cutter Channel thousands of times. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you reply to that and you say, you're allowed to drink alcohol and drive a boat. And this is what you told him, right?
Yes, sir.
And
Is there
again, that
an
is a true
alcohol limit
statement,
on
right?
voting?
And during this conversation, further,
Let's see.
Mr. Pino takes the opportunity, after following some additional conversation between the two of you, he takes the opportunity to tell you again about what his recollection.
So it looks like blood breath alcohol limit, the legal limit for boat operators is 0.08 or higher. Under 21 for operators under the legal drinking age, the limit is strictly 0.02. Open containers, unlike cars, open containers of alcohol are legal on boats. In Florida, passengers of legal drinking age are allowed to drink, but the person actively operating or in physical control of the vessel must remain completely sober and unimpaired. Hmm. Huh. Okay. Like I said, I'm not a boating person, so I don't know these things.
What his memory is of how the accident occurred. You recall that?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Pino says, that was my wife and myself, right? And then two girls were on the back, and the rest of the girls in the front in the seating area. And then we were going through the last marker. There was a boat coming through, which was bigger. So the waves, I was veering to the right to cut into the waves. You say, okay. Mr. Pino continues, right, like I always do, cut right through the waves, and I knew I was going to hit some waves. I looked back at the two girls that were sitting back there because I was a little concerned. I told my wife, watch. I even remember exactly who it was. It was Coco. Pretty sure it was Coco and Andrea. You recall him giving you that answer?
Yes, sir.
Now, Coco, he was referring to someone by the name of Coco Aguilar, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Andrea, he was referring to someone known as Andrea Knopfler, correct?
Yes, sir.
And both Coco Aguilar and Andrea Knopfler, they were passengers on Mr. Pino's boat at the time that this accident occurred.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Pino is telling you that he even remembers exactly who was sitting behind him, again saying it was Coco and Andrea. Is that right?
Correct.
Now, that turned out not to be true. Is that right?
Objection called for hearsay.
Did you conducted a further investigation in the days and months leading or after this accident, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you determined who, in fact, of the passengers were sitting in the back of the boat, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And did your investigation reveal that it was Sarah Gutierrez?
Objection, this is hearsay.
the state.
Your investigation did not
investigated.
reveal that Coco Aguilar and Andrea Knopfler were sitting in the back of the boat.
Objection, it's hearsay.
Exhibit number 11.
What are we doing?
So
Are we
I'm
on
handing you
side
exhibit number
or-
11.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You recall detective, that exhibit number 11 was the boating diagram that was presented to the various passengers in this case in order to develop the seating chart of the seating chart of the passengers as they sat on Mr. Pino's boat on the day of this accident, correct?
Yes, sir.
And if you would, referring to exhibit number 11, what did your investigation reveal as to who was sitting in the back of the boat?
Objection, Judge, that's not what Exhibit 11 demonstrates.
Was it introduced?
Yes.
Yes, but it was not from the detective, it was the words of other witnesses.
I'm gonna allow, go ahead.
Good.
It says Sarah and Mia.
Not Coco and Andre.
Correct.
So Mr. Pino gave you mistaken information when he said that Coco and Andrea were sitting behind him. Is that
This
right?
was just
Yes, sir.
hours after it happened. You know, can you imagine the trauma that's going through your head and whatnot?
Mr. Pino goes on. And he tells you, speeding up a bit, he says, so I turned around and I said, hey guys, watch out, hold on, because I'm cutting into the waves and you guys are on the back, and if you bump around, they were right on the back. There was a seat at the back of the boat, and as soon as I said it, I was cutting through the wave and I looked, and the wheel, I guess when it hit the waves, the wheel turned a little bit, turned a little bit as I was cutting back in, and I lost a little bit control, and I think I turned, and it was I'm pretty sure it was the left side of the boat that skimmed the left side of the boat, probably towards the front to try to turn away from it. So again, Mr. Pino tells you that it was the left side of the boat that made contact. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And he goes on to say, and the boat hit the left front boat, and then we all got ejected. Do you know if Mr. Pino's statement to you that, quote unquote, they all got ejected, or I'm sorry, that we all got ejected, was true?
Objection, calls for hearsay.
How's that hearsay? Okay.
Do you know if Mr. Pino's statement that, quote, we all got ejected was an accurate statement?
Objection, Judge.
You asked Mr. Pino, once you get ejected, when you came up, what did you see that you can remember? And Mr. Pino says that I know exactly what I saw. It's
Because he's introducing the defendant's words through this detective. The state can do that. The defense cannot interject the defendant's words. If the defendant wants the jury to know what he said, then he can testify. That's the hearsay. I totally forgot about that rule.
because I'm having a problem. I'm having a problem recalling because it was very scary. I got up, so I know I couldn't believe what had happened. I saw a few people floating. I yelled. I recognized some of them. They said, all right, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And then I immediately went under the boat to see if anyone was there. Do you recall him telling you that?
Yes, sir.
And you recall asking Mr. Pino, do you remember who was under there, referring to the boat? And Mr. Pino responded, I'm very clear who was under there, and I got her. And you asked Mr. Pino, what was her name? Do you remember what Mr. Pino told you?
I have to look at my notes.
Mr. Pino told you it was Nati Reed. Does that sound right to you?
Yes, sir.
Which is inaccurate because it was Lucy.
And we, of course, are here in this trial because it wasn't Nati Reed who was under the boat. right?
Correct.
Do you know who was under the boat?
Objection, Judge, calls for speculation.
What?
Witness not there.
Question, please.
Do you know who was under the boat?
Objection, calls for speculation.
Sure. Lucy Fernandez was under the boat, wasn't she?
Objection, calls for speculation.
What the hell? This is why we're in court, because Lucy died.
Not sure I understand the,
Come over here, please.
Sure.
We don't have much room. Oh. Okay, so we've caught up to real time. What are your thoughts? I have a couple people watching and Rumble. Welcome. Welcome. Oops, did I think I hit the wrong button. Oh, there's the plane. Alright, so let's remove that until they come back. So in the comments, the live chat, are y'all able to chat, put comments in the live chat? What do you think of the case so far, if you've been following along? If you haven't been following along and you're just joining us, welcome. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That helps. It will help me tremendously trying to get my subscriber count up, and the likes will help the algorithm. Also, share the video to your friends. I'd appreciate it. Okay, it looks like we might be coming back. Let's put this back up on stage and see. Maybe not. There was camera movement, so yeah. I really am still at reasonable doubt as to the recklessness. But I think they charged this as reckless homicide, basically. So are y'all still at reasonable doubt, or you think guilty or innocent? What are your thoughts? Go back. See if you can get that question asked. Let's see, we got more viewers on Rumble. Thank you, thank you. Where's everybody watching from? I'm in Southwest Missouri.
All right. Counsel? Thank you. You may
thanks,
proceed
thank you.
with your questions.
At any time after the accident, did you interview Natty Reed?
I'd have to go through my notes.
Do you know of anyone from you or your agency or any other agency that interviewed Natty Reed after the accident?
I would have to go through my notes.
I guess the objection was this: he wasn't allowed to ask if it was Lucy under the boat and not this other lady.
Now, your conversation with Mr. Pino continued on later after that afternoon, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And at the time that you asked Mr. Pino if he would write a statement as to his, what happened, he agreed to do that. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you had conversations between the two of you regarding any number of things that he and you thought would be appropriate to place in the statement. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And one of the things that you asked Mr. Pino about was how fast he was going. If you remember, it's what his speed was.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that right? And Mr. Pino mentioned to you, first he said 39 RPMs, 38, 39 RPMs, and RPMs means what?
Rotations per minute.
And when you're on a boat, like Mr. Pino's, it's very common that the screen on many of these boats kind of shows what your speed is based on rotations per minute, RPMs, correct?
Yes, sir.
So if the RPMs are 39 RPMs, for example, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going 39 miles per hour on a boat. Is that right?
Correct.
Good
Because
point.
there are many variables with speed on a boat, correct?
Correct.
And in fact, you discussed that
Value
with
of the
Mr.
water.
Pino because he was asking you, what does 39 RPMs correspond to in miles per hour? You remember that conversation?
Yes, sir.
And you were telling Mr. Pino that, just as we said, it could be a couple different things. It could be propeller, that he had 14 people on the boat. These are some of the variables which would affect speed. Remember that conversation?
Yes, sir.
One of the things that Mr. Pino offered was that he said he had a lot of weight on the boat, and that he said, quote, I have two engines, two 225s. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
And when he said two 225s, he was referring to the size of the engines on his boat.
Objection calls for speculation.
Did you, the engines that were on Mr. Pino's boat, the boat that was involved in the accident had two 300 horsepower engines. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Twin 300s.
Yes, sir.
Do you know if Mr. Pino ever owned a boat prior to the boat that was involved in this accident?
No, sir.
Go on.
You did notice when you began your interview with Mr. Pino that he did have his head wrapped in a gauze bandage. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Do you know why it was that his head was wrapped in a gauze bandage?
I did not.
Suspect some head injury?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Pino, in fact, prepared the written statement for you that you asked for. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's in evidence now, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Is he saying that the information is because of the head injury? He was confused.
Mr. Pino also told you, as we know, what his memory was as to how the accident happened. We just went all through that. Did you follow up with any type of investigation to determine if Mr. Pino's memory about another boat contributing to the cause of the accident occurred?
I did.
And what did you do in order to determine if there was another boat that contributed to this accident?
Multiple different things.
I'm sorry, we need to keep your voice up, sir.
Multiple different
Like
things.
what?
Such as, Lieutenant, what did you do?
We spoke to Good Samaritans that were very first on scene. There was a picture taken by a Good Samaritan that showed the northbound aspect of the boating accident. We contacted other agencies, seeing if there were cameras in the area.
How long after the crash was the picture taken?
We interviewed the passengers on the vessel.
And did
I'm
you
sorry, my
find
cat.
anything in all of that which corroborated Mr. Pino's memory as to whether there was another boat?
Objection hearsay.
Oh, no.
My
No.
cat is rubbing against the mic. I'm sorry.
You mentioned a picture taken by a good Samaritan. How was that helpful to you in coming to the conclusion?
The photograph shows an image of the vessel that the defendant was operating capsized. I believe it's 3 minutes post-accident time. I'll have to verify in my notes if that's exact time. And it shows a northbound view of Key Biscayne with no vessels in sight.
And you said it was approximately 3 minutes after the accident?
I would have to look at my notes, but around that time frame.
Could it have been as soon as 2.5 minutes after the accident?
Could have been.
And the picture that you were referring to was a wide enough view so that you were comfortable that any boat that might have fit the description that Mr. Pino gave would still have been within the picture frame.
Yes, sir.
Depends on how fast it's going, maybe.
Lieutenant, one of the things that was recovered 2 days after the accident were some empty alcoholic beverage containers. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And that was when the boat was actually recovered out of the water. There was an inspection done of the boat.
Yes, sir.
And that's where these things were discovered. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you testified earlier today that there were 61 empty alcoholic beverage containers.
Yes, sir. To my memory.
Lieutenant, were you a part of the recovery team of the boat on the 6th?
Objection, that couldn't be on the scope of direct.
Just a question.
Allow one question.
Sure, I think that's all I need. Were you a part of the recovery team?
I was at the dock that day.
Okay. You.
Come on.
Exhibit 97. Yeah. I'm driving. That must be easy.
Come on.
While the clerk is looking for the exhibit, I wanted to ask some questions about your reenactment that you did on June 9th, 2025. Do you recall, I received let me ask you this, do you recall what time it was that the actual reenactment was done?
I'd have to look at my notes.
Do you have your notes with you?
I do.
Why don't you take a look at those and look up in you have your memory refreshed.
Around 8:47 a.m.
So at 8:47 a.m., is that when the actual runs with the vessel were done?
I don't have that report with me. That was the time frame that we started doing runs, but I don't know the full time frame of how long.
Okay. The group of persons that were going to be involved met at Bayfront Marina at about 8 a.m. that day, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And so you're saying that about 8:47, you guys were out at the location?
Yes, sir.
And that's when the activity began, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what the tide was, the tide phase at that time?
I do.
On that day, what was it?
It was a plus 1.75.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Plus 1.75.
Lieutenant, I want to show you one of the drone aerial footage that was taken on that day. That's take a look at that with me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, watching something.
Before we look at the video, as I understand it, your testimony earlier was that you tried to follow the historic track that Mr. Pino's vessel took on the day of this accident as you possibly could. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the track that you followed was, based on the information that you took off or that you received from Mr. Pino's actual SIMRAD GPS device. Is that right?
The information that was given to Paul Adler, yes.
All right. And you were able to, it was actually you that was navigating or that was driving the test boat?
Yes, sir.
And you had that information, I presume, on the screen in front of you, the historic track, so that you could
I'm sure that
steer on that. Is that right?
Mr. Adler
he
did.
didn't follow it.
You said, was Mr.
Albert, sorry.
Albert was driving the boat?
No, he was present.
Okay. My question, though, is that how was it that you were able to drive on close to the same track that Mr. Pino drove?
He set the GPS buoys himself and instructed me to follow the buoys from one buoy to the next.
Understood. And that was based on the historic tracks that were present
How
on
far
Mr.
off
Pino's
track
SIM
was
map.
the buoys?
Yes.
And you are comfortable, or you were convinced that the buoys that Mr. Albert set up for you are consistent with the actual course that Mr. Pino drove on the day of this accident. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Carlos, if you would call up S1001384. Yard, may Lieutenant Thompson come down and take a look?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to play this through one time, and we'll ask some questions about it. All right, prior to, hold that for a second.
Okay, this is
Prior to
the,
viewing this, you and I met today, and you authenticated
Right.
for me that this video that you're about to see is an accurate representation of what took place that day. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, can we have what exhibit number this is?
Yeah, it's 97.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want you to start it. Over there for a second. So this is the vessel that you were operating, Lieutenant?
Yes, sir.
And just for the sake of the record, what we're looking at here is a part of the Cutter Bank channel, correct?
Yes, sir.
And can you see what I'm pointing at the channel marker here. Do you know what channel marker that is?
13A.
I'm pointing at another one of the red triangle. You know what that is?
14.
And the final channel marker that I'm pointing at?
15.
15 is the channel marker that was aligned with, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's continue. Let me stop. Just let me- let's run that back again. I see the questions. Stop it there. Lieutenant Thompson, where your vessel appears at that moment, the 18-second timestamp, you're just 13A is just to the left side of your vessel. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, there's plenty of space between your vessel and the 13A channel marker at that point. Is it there?
Yes, sir.
Continue, please. Stop it there. Now, at this point, just past the 13A channel marker, you are still within the Cutter Bank channel, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And would you consider that the location of your vessel at that point is somewhere in the center of the Cutter Bank channel?
Yes, sir.
I'm guessing that's not the exact path that George took.
Over there. And as your vessel is continuing now, that is more in line with the left side of the channel, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, if there are no oncoming boats present in that, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's because the area has been essentially quarantined by other police vessels, is that right?
Yes, sir.
There were no oncoming boats, as you said earlier, you were convinced there were no oncoming boats at the time of the accident that Mr. Pino was involved in, is that right?
Objection.
Sustained.
And you are past channel marker 15 at that point, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, you were able to avoid aligning with
Back on the
channel marker
witness.
15, obviously, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the reason that you were able to avoid aligning with is because you were focused entirely on that channel. Correct. The very purpose that you were there was to conduct this experiment, if you will. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
It's reenactment, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so that's all that you were focused on, right?
I'm focused on all my surroundings while on the water, making sure I'm not going to hit any other channel markers, making sure the water depths are good, that my
You didn't have
passengers
people
are safe.
to-
I'm not just focused on that green marker.
Sure, but because you were completely focused, as you said, on all of these things, you were able to approach that channel marker 15 at close to or at the same rate that Mr. Pino was able to, that Mr. Pino approached that, but you managed to avoid colliding with him, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's because you saw it in front of you,
Yes, sir.
correct? You saw it even before you got to the channel marker itself, is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
And you were able to make the decision as you got closer to it, to turn, or in your case, you turned slightly to the left in order to avoid the collision, right?
Yes, sir.
And but for the fact that you were not distracted by anything else, you were able to safely get around channel marker 15, correct?
Yes, sir.
Nothing further.
Is he done with cross or is this part? Okay, it's just this part. What are we doing? We're live, so we can't zoom.
final question for you, Lieutenant. You mentioned earlier in response to my question about the tide that was present. Tide, T-I-D-E. You answered my question about the tide that was present at the time that you conducted this recreation. Do you know what station that tide was measured from?
No, sir.
And I ask because, of course, different stations will have different tide levels. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So what the tide might be in downtown Miami isn't necessarily what the tide is going to be in Coconut Grove, for example.
It'll be pretty close based on the area, but it will be different.
Okay. And I believe you said that the tide, as you recall, was plus 1.75. Was that it?
Yes, sir.
And that means exactly what?
There's a standard level that the sea level's at, and it goes up and down from there. So plus 1.75 would be 1 foot, 0.1 and 0.75 feet above that standard level.
And was that considered the highest tide for that day?
No, it was not.
At that time? What was the high point tide?
I do not know.
Do you know what the low point tide was?
I do not.
All right, I have nothing further. Thank you.
I think so.
Let's see what the prosecution is going to do on redirect. She's probably going to ask if he
Speaking of
was
tides,
drinking,
the
blah, blah,
tide on the day that recreation was done, you indicated the tide was what exactly?
Plus 1.75.
Did you ever research what the tide was at that location on September 4th, 2022 at about 6:30 p.m.?
I did.
What was it?
The high tide of the day was at 4:48 p.m., which was plus 2.2. The low tide was going to be at 11:33 p.m., which is negative 0.7. So it would be somewhere between there, roughly around 1.5 feet.
How did he come up with 1.5?
So at the time that the vessel collision happened in this particular case, the tide was lower than. Now, in terms of what that means as far as how high up or down the water moves along that channel marker, when would the water have been higher up on the channel marker? On the day of the recreation or at the time of the crash?
It was higher at the day of the recreation.
So at the time of the crash, would more of the sign have been visible?
It would have.
I want to show you a picture. It's in evidence. It states exhibit number 10. Do you recognize from this investigation who is depicted in these photographs?
More or less, yes.
And are a lot of these
Well, the
girls the
names
girls
are
that were in
already
fact
on there.
on the vessel?
Yes, ma'am.
And let me ask you a question first off. Are they black or white?
No.
Huh?
Colored picture.
No, I'm sorry. We needed that on a Friday. What is the race
What
of these
race?
girls? Black, white?
Mostly white.
Okay.
What's race got
What
to do
about
with
hair
anything?
length?
Longer hair for most of them.
What are they wearing?
String bikinis.
Some of them are wearing sunglasses.
Yes,
Overall, these girls kind of look alike.
they do.
So that helps the defense because he thought it was somebody else under the boat.
So when Mr. Pino is trying to tell you where he remembers the individual girls were, maybe not so easy to distinguish them when they're wearing bathing suits.
Correct.
That helps the defense, doesn't it?
The defense asked you about Mr. Pino saying that he's traversed that area thousands of times. Were you taking him literally at that moment?
No, ma'am.
So like if I say to you, we've had thousands of sidebars in this trial, do you think we've really walked over to the side of the judge's bench thousands of times?
No, ma'am.
What the? Who was that?
Do you
That was uncalled for.
know if when Mr. Pino told you that he had had 2 beers, do you know for sure if that's the truth?
No.
When he told you that there was this other vessel that caused this crash, do you know if that's the truth?
No.
Do you know whether he said that because he was misremembering what happened?
No, ma'am.
Do you know if maybe he
Speculation.
said that because he wanted to blame somebody else for this crash?
Speculation.
Do you know?
No.
Nothing else.
Those were dumb questions. What's your thoughts?
All right, the witness is excused. Sir, you may be subject to recall.
Recall.
You remember this?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They left an exhibit on the witness stand. Oh, they got it.
You good for today?
Yes, my witness,
Are we
I
done?
explained, will have to come back next week.
And witness ready to do.
Wow, it's early stopping point today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end for today at this time.
I wonder if they're gonna
have
have an argument.
We've only over a couple of days now. And it's very important that you continue to be vigilant with regard to my instructions. Protecting yourselves. No outside information, potential influence. Do not
We'll
discuss
stay
this case
live
with
until we
anyone.
find out when we're going to be back on Monday.
Curious about what you are doing, where you are. The response is, I'm sorry, I'm on a jury, and that's all I can say. And that's that. Okay? Please do not speak to each other at all about this case. Don't speak with anyone else. Please don't conduct any research or investigation. Don't conduct your own experiments, because none of that is evidence. You're getting the evidence in the courtroom. That's all you can rely on, with the instructions I can give you on the line to ultimately reach your decision. Avoid contact. Anyone who comes to try to speak with you or in your presence about the case, please avoid that. Anyone persists, please report that to Renee and bring it to my attention. You think you see or hear anything in the news, social media about this case, even if you're not sure, don't wait and listen to try to find out. Ignore it. Okay? I'm going to ask you to return on Monday, 9:30. Please be here by 9:30. You'll report to the jury room on the 7th floor. Please, Mondays are busy with other people coming in for jury duty and other juries being selected. Please wait inside the jury room. You know Renee, spent already a week and a half, 2 weeks with them. So you know who he is. Wait for him to come up inside the jury room to bring everyone together, to bring you into the court. Okay?
Okay, so it's 9:30 Monday morning.
Monday at 9:30, check into the jury room on the 7th floor, and have a restful and pleasant weekend. Renee will see you out now and take your envelopes with you. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna stay and see if they put anything else on the record with it being a short day, or if everybody's going home for the day. Any comments? Any questions? Any thoughts?
All right, everyone can have a seat. I just want to go over with all of you in preparation. I ask you please, and I had mentioned it before to the attorneys. I'm going to be looking at and working on the jury instructions this weekend. I'm going to be looking specifically at any special requested jury instructions. And that's going to include, I believe the state has provided me with a special requested instruction on the navigational rules. I'm going to be looking at that over the weekend. Okay?
Let's focus on the judge.
From the defense, proposed instructions, which somewhat mirror, well, they do mirror, but they include additional, requests that are not within the current standard instructions. That's going to be very important for us to discuss all of this. So the sooner that we start looking at them, and evaluating these current standard instructions for, the manslaughter and for, vessel homicide, for that. Okay? So please work on that over the weekend, and, I'll let you know that I am looking not only in Florida, because I know what the standard, we see what the standard instructions are, but I'm looking again throughout the state on that issue, and, may or may not be looking outside the state of Florida, because I'm not sure to what extent, the requests that have been made, how they, special instruction from the state, in addition to the additional language from the defense, as special instructions, I think a lot of this could be matters of first impression. So I invite you to look even outside of the state of Florida at how other jurisdictions might address some of these issues that we know we're going to have. It's not going to be a surprise what it is.
Does Florida not have
Okay? All right. That's the one thing.
this stuff?
And the second thing is, in terms of where we're going as far as witnesses, my understanding is we're going to have, I think, 2 additional witnesses from the state.
Yes,
Okay. One is going to be from the court center.
correct.
Will that be your first witness for Monday?
I'm not sure. I need to speak with
See
each
how
of
that
them to
works
figure out
In
how their
terms of
schedules
time.
are.
All right. And then you're going to have the witness, Mr. what is it? The expert.
Albert, A-L-B-E-R.
As your expert witness. Okay. If there are any
So it sounds like 3
issues
more
that you
witnesses to the
anticipate
prosecution.
regarding that witness, Mr. Albert, or either of the witnesses, okay, if you would put me on notice through email as to what concerns might be raised, so we will discuss those before I would bring the jury in, as much as we can. Okay? Because that's been very helpful in terms of keeping our proceedings smooth. All right. So that's all I have, and that would be the end of the state's case, and then we would move forward. I will ask, and I'm not going to comment, because there's going to be defense motions at the close of the state's case. So if we do proceed, the defense should be ready to proceed with your witnesses, or I would imagine sometime after lunch, say have your witnesses ready before 1:30 or so in the afternoon. Just if we are proceeding past the defense motions, it should have them ready, okay? Does anyone have anything they want to talk about now?
Yes, Judge. Over one of the breaks, Mr. Shrevenick and I both signed off on a stipulation regarding the fact that the defendant's vessel was in operable condition on the day in question. I'd like to ask if that can be marked as a court exhibit and admitted into evidence.
All right, defense? You've
Yes.
seen this, okay.
I signed it, yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it as a court exhibit, parties have stipulated, but then what I will do is, at the point in time that you ask me to publish that to the jury, I would publish it as a court exhibit, I would read them the instruction on stipulations, and then, I would read that to them.
Thank you.
That would be
I'll
court.
leave it to you, though, to notify me
Yes.
at what point, you would like me to provide that information to the jury.
Excellent.
That would be court exhibit 1.
Court exhibit 1, next.
I am told that during my, I believe, redirect with Lieutenant Thompson, I could hear sound behind me, but I was focused on what was doing. I am told that the defendant may have been muttering something along the lines of, "It happens, it happens, it happens." I noticed, from being over on that side when I need to view the angle of the monitor screen, he's in very, very close proximity to the jurors. And I hope maybe somebody misunderstood what was taking place, but I did hear noise behind me. And so I just hope that the defendant is not doing something along those lines.
Did we hear anything like that?
I had made some
Because the camera's right here.
And I did not hear anything.
I'm sorry, do you have something you want to say to me? Why are you staring at me?
Excuse me.
I'm staring out there. I don't want to say anything.
Excuse me.
Oh, shoot.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Wow.
we're not going to do this.
That is uncalled for. That's unprofessional.
I'm going to remind everyone, including not only people in the audience, but also
Wow.
specifically.
We're going to have to rewind that because that was crazy.
Professionals and Mr. Pino. We won't have this. No conversations back and forth. And I'll remind counsel again, please, make sure it's understood by Mr. Pino, because I'm not going to speak to Mr. Pino directly unless, of course, counsel has no issue with that. But I did not hear anything, but I'm reminding everyone that even gestures are inappropriate. So, with any witness and with anyone.
We are definitely going to rewind this when the judge
So
is
not only
done because
verbal,
that was
but any kind of
nuts.
gestures from anyone in this courtroom that could potentially be seen by the jury. And again, that includes Mr. Pino, that includes me, frankly, okay, that the jury could see or hear is improper. So, please, again, I did not hear anything and I did not see anything. So I'm just going to give everyone, counsel, I'm going to speak to you. May I say something to your client?
Of course.
Oh, Mr. Pino, I'm
Yes,
going
sir.
to remind you to please maintain
I like how you stood up for the
composure,
judge.
and please no statements or whispering. Again, I didn't hear anything, and please refrain. I haven't seen anything from any kind of gestures or anything like that could potentially be seen by the jury. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, Your Honor.
Thank
For the
you very
record,
much.
So when this is
Thank you.
I haven't done any of those.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
That's all we need to do. And I think with that, we've concluded our proceedings. See you all at 9:30 on Monday, the 14th. Thank you.
9:30.
so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewind back to the recross because the camera is sitting right by George. I want to see if we can hear anything. Give me just a second. Let me find it. Okay, that's. Let me see where this is at.
3 p.m., which is negative point.
Tide levels, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The water have been high.
Tide.
I do not know.
Okay. So I'm going to boost the audio. It may be really loud, the background noise, but I want to see if we can hear anything when the prosecution is up questioning. Okay.
Okay. Do you know what the low point tide was?
I do not.
All right, I have nothing further. Thank you.
I think so.
We're going to listen closely, see if we hear any whispering.
Speaking of tides, the tide on the day that recreation was done, you indicated the tide was what exactly?
Plus 1.75.
Did you ever research what the tide was? I want to show you a picture. It's in evidence.
The low tide was going to be at 11:33 p.m., which is negative 0.7. So it's be somewhere between there, roughly around 1.5 feet.
So at the time that the vessel collision happened in this particular case, the tide was lower than. Now, in terms of what that means as far as how high up or down the water moves along that channel marker, when would the water have been higher up on the channel marker? On the day of the recreation or at the time of the crash?
It was higher at the day of the recreation.
So at the time of the crash, would more of the sign have been visible?
It would have.
I want to show you a picture. It's in evidence. It's State's Exhibit number 10.
I'm listening closely to see if I can hear anything.
Do you recognize from this investigation who is depicted in these photographs?
More or less, yes.
And are a lot of these girls the girls that were in fact on the vessel?
Yes, ma'am.
And let me ask you a question first off. Are they black or white?
No.
Huh?
Colored picture.
No, I'm sorry. We needed that on a Friday. What is the race of these girls? Black, white?
Mostly white.
Okay. What about hair length?
Longer hair for most of them.
What are they wearing?
String bikinis.
Some of them are wearing sunglasses.
Yes,
Overall, these girls kind of look alike.
they do.
So when Mr. Pino is trying to tell you where he remembers the individual girls were, maybe not so easy to distinguish them when they're wearing bathing suits?
Correct.
The defense asked you about Mr. Pino saying that he's traversed that area thousands of times. Were you taking him literally at that moment?
No, ma'am.
So like if I say to you, we've had thousands of sidebars in this trial, do you think we've really walked over to the side of the judge's bench thousands of times?
No.
Do you know if when Mr. Pino told you that he had had 2 beers, do you know for sure if that's the truth?
No.
When he told you that there was this other vessel that caused this crash, do you know if that's the truth?
No.
Do you know whether he said that because he was misremembering what happened?
No, ma'am.
Do you know if maybe he said that because he wanted to blame somebody else for this crash? Do you know?
No.
Nothing else.
Okay. So I didn't hear anything. Did y'all? I know that there was a lot of background noise. I'm not saying he did or didn't. I couldn't hear anything of the sort. Now, I want to go back to the. I now want to go back to the where they kind of got into it a little bit.
There are some things that I had mentioned it before. We're gonna have the witness, Mr. Oh, that's all I have, and that would be the end of the state's case, and then we would move forward. I will ask, and I don't close the state's case.
Vessel was in operable condition.
See this,
I signed it, yes.
publish it as a court exhibit, I would read them the instruction on stipulations, and then, I would read that to them.
We're
Okay.
listening to the exchange
Court-
about
I'll leave it to you, though, to
if Mr.
notify
Pino
me
said
at
or
what
didn't say
point,
something.
You would like me to provide that information to the jury.
Excellent.
That would be Court Exhibit 1.
Court Exhibit 1, yes.
I am told that during my, I believe, redirect with Lieutenant Thompson, I could hear sound behind me, but I was focused on what I was doing. I am told that the defendant
lot
may
of
have
background
been
sounds.
muttering something along the lines of, it happens, it happens, it happens. I notice, from being over on that side when I need to view the angle of the monitor screen, he's in very, very close proximity to the jurors. And I hope maybe somebody misunderstood what was taking place, but I did hear noise behind me. And so I just hope that the defendant is not doing something along those lines.
You know,
Okay,
I had made some
watch this.
adjustments to the
This is some
seating.
crazy shit.
Inclusive of everyone,
I wish we could
and I did not
have what TV
hear
you
any.
I'm
wanted.
sorry, do you have something you want to say to me? Why
I
are you
don't.
staring at me?
Excuse me.
I'm staring out there. I don't want to say anything.
Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen.
And then look at her. She like evil
Okay.
eyes for a while. Look at that face.
I'm gonna remind everyone, including not only people in the audience,
And the eye
but
rolling.
also
Holy cow.
specifically.
Well, that was a crazy end to today, huh? That was crazy. So I don't know whether he said something or not. There was a lot of background noise, but because of the background noise, I couldn't make out if anything was said or not. But yeah, that was a little rough on the prosecutor, um, going after the defendant like that. That was crazy. But anyways, court will be back at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time on Monday. Um, so that'll put it 8:30 my time. We will probably start at 9. It sounds like the prosecution team will be done with their evidence by lunch, and then the defense will probably make a motion of what is that called? Uh, where they ask the judge to basically end the case, where um, saying that the prosecution has not proven beyond a reasonable doubt or didn't have evidence. I'm sorry, didn't have evidence of um, the crimes that they have claimed that Mr. Pino did. And then we'll get whether the defense puts on a case or not. We'll find that out on Monday. Um, I'm not sure. I don't know if he needs to put on a case. Um, I'm still within the reasonable doubt point. So we'll be back Monday morning. I will try to start around 9:30, and we can go from there. Y'all have a great day, and thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and share the video out. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great day.